Hey everyone, Diane here again, weight loss specialist. Wanted to address something that a lot of my clients want to understand a little better, and that is, what is the deal with dairy? Why can't they have dairy? You know, our moms told us when we were kids, you got to drink your milk, you're going to have strong bones, you need calcium, you know, dairy is important. So let's take a minute and talk a little bit about dairy and why, when you are trying to lose some weight, it is not necessarily your best friend. So first thing, dairy, and I'm talking milk and cheese and things like that, you know, it is obviously made with milk that comes from a cow. So let's address the obvious here. Cows are not human beings. Their bodies are different than our bodies. Their bodies process and break down things a little differently than our bodies do. You know, our system is not going to be identical to that of a cow. So when you're taking in milk that was designed for a baby cow, that milk will not break down the same way in your body as it does in that animal's body. Think of how many people you know that are lactose intolerant. Maybe you yourself are lactose intolerant, whether it's mild, severe, you know, maybe you have some sensitivity when you eat ice cream or when you eat cheese. Let me clear the air here. Everybody is lactose intolerant to some extent. You may not see symptoms of it, but that doesn't mean that your body is tolerant of dairy, that it is able to process dairy in the way that that cow is able to process that. That's because it has enzymes in it that our body simply can't break down. So dairy, milk, cheese, things of that nature, what they do is they cause inflammation in the body. That's that lactose intolerance that we're talking about here. That's those enzymes that we're not fully processing the way we're supposed to. So even if you don't know you're lactose intolerant, your body will become inflamed in certain ways with dairy products because the body cannot break them down, you know, appropriately. So what that translates to from a weight loss standpoint is inflammation is not a friend of weight loss in any sense of, you know, that term at all. It's not going to help you lose fat. It's not going to help your metabolic system run better. It is not something that we recommend during active fat loss, because instead of promoting that fat loss process, it can slow it down. And we don't want anything that's going to slow that down, right? So when you get to maintenance, that's a different story. When you're done losing weight and when you're learning to add foods back into your diet, dairy can become a day-to-day thing again. That's okay. You know, that's not something for some people. Now, everyone's going to have their trigger foods. I'll tell you, for me personally, dairy is not one of my trigger foods. I'm one of those lucky people that's not very sensitive to dairy products, you know, at least not on the surface. And I can eat cheese and, you know, drink milk or whatever. And for the most part, it's not going to negatively affect my body, and it's not going to negatively affect my weight. There are other people, though, that when they have a little of those things, it has a major impact for them. For me, that what has a major impact is more like bread products. So you're going to learn as we move through this process what your okay foods are, what your cautionary foods are, what your, ooh, I might want to avoid that because I know what's going to do to me foods are. You know, this is a lifelong process, a lifestyle change. This is helping you learn how your body functions, what you function best on. This is something that's meant to be a sustainable weight loss. So, you know, dairy will come back. And when it does, you'll see if it's one of those foods for you, if it's, you know, kind of like me, where you can have it and it's no big deal, or if it's something that we need to be a little bit more careful with. So that's the first thing I want to touch on. The other thing is, you know, when I talk about dairy, a lot of times people go, well, where am I going to get my calcium? Where am I going to get, you know, the good things that dairy brings into my body? That dairy's healthy. It has protein. It has other, you know, good things in it. Yes, it does. But guess what? You can get all of those things from other sources. So there are much more weight loss friendly sources of calcium, of protein. You know, you can eat things that are leaner and healthier, or I should say promote a leaner, healthier body than dairy, and also that are not an inflammatory. So you're not going to have that. Now, if you are someone who is concerned with that, if you're, you know, absolutely like, no, I really worry about my calcium intake. If you don't feel like you're going to get enough from the foods that you're eating, and if certainly communicate with us, you know, as your specialists, we're here to help custom design those programs and make sure you know what foods are going to provide some of that. And if you feel like you're getting enough of it, awesome. If you don't, we can always look at a calcium supplement or something like that we can recommend to you to help you get that in if it is a concern of yours. But I do want you to just Trust the process. Understand that when we're asking you to eliminate something, there's a really good reason for it. And dairy is one of those things that truly the aspects that will negatively impact your weight loss are just not worth adding that in and not having you reap all the benefit of what eliminating that in the short term can do for you. Irritation, inflammation in the system, when that's going on, I want you to think of it like a cut on your finger. And if you have a cut on your finger and you just keep poking at it and messing with it and, banging it into things, and you're not taking care to not keep re-irritating that cut, it's not going to get any better. And that's really what we're trying to do with your metabolic system. What it comes down to is your metabolic system is in a state of irritation, and dairy is an irritant. So when you're having more and more of that, we're never calming things down like we want to. When we eliminate that in the short term, we're able to kind of calm everything down, get you to a place where you are metabolically sound, and then we can add that dairy back in and you can start having it again. Like I said, if you are like many people out there, you can probably enjoy that without too many problems. If you are someone who's a little more lactose sensitive, or if that is one of your trigger foods that makes the scale jump, then again, we know it's a cautionary food and we know how to help you learn long-term where that fits. And, you can use your good judgment as to how often you want to indulge in it. So that's the deal with dairy. And as always, great talking to you guys.